Good morning, beautiful people. Guess what? I've got a temporary workshop and I really like it. Yeah, I like my workshop. The only thing about living bus life full time that I'm not looking forward to is not having a workshop. When just before I was kicked out of my cottage, I just completed my dream workshop and it had a balcony on the outside, an outside balcony, big enough for maybe 4 people to sit, all caged off so that my grandchildren didn't fall through it. And it was like cantilevered over the walled garden that was quite a drop down. And then what you were looking at was the Blackwood Forest. It was ace. I spent all my time in there. I could get up in the morning and just go in there with a flask of coffee and then come back in when it's pitch black. And that's in the summertime. Yeah, so that's the thing I'm going to miss. But anyway, my friend who kindly lent me the house, this house is slated for deconstruction and then reconstruction. So I've set up a little workshop. I'm going to keep on top of it. Of course, when the builders come in, it's going to make a lot more mess than me making a bit of wood mess, because it's just a woodworking wood shop. So any heavy sanding or anything like that, I'll do in the garden, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I love being in my workshop. It's my happy place. It really, really is. It's ace. And when I'm happiest in my workshop is when I'm making a wee gift for somebody. So I just spent the last 2 days when I came back from Englandshire, when I got stuck in the mud. Please go back to the last videos and see that. It's funny. So I spent the last couple of days getting the house tidy and sorting out the workshop, because from now till February, because I think that's about as long as I've got the house for, I'm going to concentrate on converting the bus properly. I've made it habitable and lived in it now for about 10 weeks. Made it habitable, very comfortable, but it's very basic. You know, there's no actual plugging in electric or anything like that. So that's the job over the next 2 months. So I'm going to, everything that's in it now, you may have seen in previous videos, that's all going to get ripped out. And then it's down to reconstructing the whole inside, the proper refit. I've got just about everything. I think I've got maybe, I don't know, maybe about 500 or 600 quid to spend on the electrics. That's going to be the first job. Get the electrics sorted. And then I can start working from there, you see. Diesel heater. But I don't know about electrics. So I'm going to have to get somebody to help me with that. But anyway, so what I will need then is a workshop. So I built one. Well, yeah, I made one. I'll show you. And I'll show you some of the jobs I'm doing. Because like I say, I'm never happier than when I'm in a workshop. And I'm never happier in my workshop than when I'm making a wee gift for somebody. So I'm making a couple of gifts. But I'll show you my workshop. See? Right. I don't have to zoom. Oh, I can zoom out. Oh. You see? There was a couple of metal things in the wall there. They were quite strong. They had strong screws through them. So I don't know what was hanging there. And they were like a flat metal plate. And they had like 2 prongs on. Like that. So basically, all I did with that was I put that piece of 1x1 on there. And then just thumped it down. And those 2 prongs on each one of those brackets, whatever they were for, has bit into the wood. Yeah, so it's kind of like a French cleat. Anyway, that puts everything tidy and handy. This is a pressure pot that I'm making for a rather ambitious bowl I'm going to make. But I'll show you that in a sec. Just show you my workshop. Got a bit organised there. This paint is actually the colour. If you can see this, that's the actual colour that the bus is going to be. That colour, military green. Yeah, that's going to be nice, eh? Yeah, you see it better there, can't you? Going to be nice. And we're doing it in. Oh, set up my lathe. Yeah, we're doing it in Raptor paint. I've done the bottom. These are really good kits because I'll show you. That's the noise it makes. That's my pigment for my green. But what you do, that one there with a plastic lid, that's the hardener. So, and a measuring cup. So you unscrew that, you measure your hardener, you put it in this bottle, measure your colour pigment, put it also in this bottle, give it all a right good shake, then you screw that onto it, put it into your compressor, and that's you. And you get the right texture and everything. Really, really smart. And once that one's used up, you just do the same, and rinse and repeat. Clever, eh? But I'm really looking forward to getting that on, because I've done the bottom half. Yeah, I've done the bottom half of the bus, round the wheel arches and everything, in black, and it looks really cool. And it doesn't scratch, because I've run past bushes and things, no scratches. However, it does crack if you back into a concrete post. I will tell you. Ah, so it did. Yeah, I cracked one of my wheel arches. Anyway, okay, it's all right. Soon fix it. So I've got plenty of bits and bobs. That's actually, that one there is my new boot lid. It's some thick marine ply. So I'm going to make my own wooden boot lid. These panels, they're like my wall panels. There's some insulation, 1-inch insulation. So all the walls are built, they'll be insulated with that. I bought 2 rolls of this, highly recommended, really smashing thick stuff. Bought 2 rolls of that. It was £500 for 2 rolls, and I've done all of the bus, and I've still got that much left. Yeah, and I've used bits and bobs of that for other projects. Yeah, so this is my smashing workshop. Look at the size of it, it's ace, isn't it? My last workshop wasn't as big as this. It was half the size of this, and it had no heating, and it was all made of wooden planks in the floor and stuff. Yeah, so I'll show you. If you want to follow along, you can maybe see this. This is a gift I'm making for. I thought I was making this for my mate Dave and his Mrs. Linda, but I'm not. I'm making it for my mate Ali and his lovely girlfriend Sandra, who works in the shop, because it's like a housewarming thing, but not for the house, for the camper van, because they bought a camper van. And they're a lovely couple and they love each other. So yeah, it was an old bench, this, out of the village hall. So it's very old. Aye. Hey, but don't tell them. I mean, because that was a bench, that means that for hundreds of years, people would be sat on that and farting into it. Oh, crikey. Colour of my nails. I've been working hard. Yeah, so there was a crack along here. So at first, I just put these butterflies in the crack. But then when I looked at it closer, the split had got like black muck running through the whole split. So I decided to get my wood chisels and I just gouged it all out, got rid of the rot, and then filled it with that nice resin. So once that's all sanded and everything, it should look cool in the gang. I'm not sure about the bright red handle. I might even change that to match the blue, but I don't know. Or what I should have done if I'd have thunk earlier, I should have done that in red. I think that'd have been nice. However, you know, the colourful people, my 2 friends, and we'll see. We'll see, you know, evolution of thought, let's call it. On the other side, yeah, put another one of those hardwood butterflies in, just as a decoration, I think, that one, because I don't think there's actually a split. Well, there is a bit. So I might even address that split because it's that black stuff. But we'll see. So anyway, if you want, you'll be able to see this evolve, as it were. So that's nice, eh? And then my next gift, oh crikey, he's very, very ambitious. Well, let me show you. Right, so this, I've made this a pressure pot, because inside there, I'm going to do a casting resin project. And like I say, this is by far my most ambitious wood turning project. Okay, so what we're going to do, the piece of wood that's in there, I'll show you in a sec. We're going to flood the whole thing in casting resin. Crystal clear casting resin. Now, I bought this stuff, but I don't think I'm going to use it because it's supposed to have no bubbles, but you get a great deal of bubbles. It looks like, it sort of looks like froth when you mix it. And you know what froth is? It's just like squillions of bubbles. So yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I think what I'm going to do before I commit is I'll phone a resin casting company and just tell them what I'm doing, what my project is, and tell them what I want it to become. And they'll hopefully advise me on the right thing. Because the last thing I want in this project I'm going to show you is air bubbles running through it. So anyway, so I built this pressure pot. And the idea with the pressure pot is it squeezes the bubbles out. And then if there's any bubbles sort of like still sort of hovering in the thicker parts of the resin, it squeezes them so small that you can't see them. And apparently 25 psi is all you need. And this is a guy on the YouTube who does wood turning and casting resin turning. So as you can see, put a little valve in there. I screwed it down nice and tight. And if I can make that bucket lid airtight and put 25 psi in there, that should cure it without bubbles, God willing. So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple more of these buckets. I'll do it, but I'll seal the lid shut, which means, you know, I'll seal it shut, tape it all up, strengthen it best I can, put the 25 psi in, and then see if that holds the air, and then I'll use another bucket and rinse and repeat with the actual project inside it. So you can see what we're going to do. Yeah. So that's the project. So we're going to pour liquid resin in here just below that height, because that's going to go on the lathe. Okay, so let's take her out and have a wee look. So that's it, you see. So you imagine when that's coated in liquid glass and then you turn that into a bowl. What I'm going to do, if I can try and show you, I'm going to try and follow that circumference. Can you see? So that means that this wall here, when it's turned into a bowl, will be mainly glass. And then that wall there will be them branches. So what I'll have to do is make a round wooden plate that I can fix to this. I can screw it right in, because this is the bit that's going to get hollowed out. And I'll offset it slightly. And then I'll fix my tenon onto that round wooden plate. And then I can then fix it to the jaws. And hopefully that will get me centered, and then we can save these twigs, you see, because it was a gift from a lady to her daughter. Her daughter's crazy about Christmas, so she bought her a Christmas tree for her birthday. God love her. But can you see? It looks like an embrace, you see. And it's like a mother's gift to a daughter, and it died. It died. And when I took it out of the pot, I thought there's no way that's going to live. And I felt ever so sorry for the old lady, and ever so sorry for the recipient of the gift. But I saw the root ball, you see. La la. And I thought, oh no, come on. Let's do a Jesus thing on it, resurrect it. You know what I mean? Show that there's new life in death. Hey. So that's what we're going to do. I can't wait. I can't wait to do it, but I'm really kind of freaked out by it. Honestly, I've spent an absolute age getting into all the muck and all the inner bark and, oh crikey, all the hairy, tenderly bits. And I bet you I must have spent 40 hours on that. Maybe more. I was 4 hours on it the other night. The first night I set up this lovely new, very temporary workshop. I spent 4 hours on it then, but it's ready that way. I've got rid of all the bits and bobs, and then you might be able to see right inside there, right? It looks black. That's because I painted it black. Because, you know, when people pick it up, you look through these things, and in there it was kind of a bit like that punky wood. It would never look very, very pretty. So just to disappear it, I just painted it black. Yeah, so that looks a lot better. So you just look like you're looking into a dark shadow. Whereas if I didn't do that, it just looked a bit rubbish. I've done the same in there as well. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be cool, eh? Oh, crikey. I really hope I get it right. Because it's, you know, if I get the resin wrong and it doesn't cure, and I have had mistakes with resin before, yeah, there's no coming back from it. So I'll have to see. So keep watching, because I think maybe today, if I can get the duct tape, I'm going to try putting the pressure in the pot and see if it holds. And if it holds for 48 hours, we're cool in the gang. So we'll have to see. But I think I might have to glue the lid shut. Like I said, I've got some strong glue. I've got some of that expanding glue, actually. I'll use that, yeah. I don't know, we'll see. We'll work it out. But anyway, follow along and you'll see. Next project is I'm making some scales, some knife scales out of this beautiful wood here. Look, ooh, nice. Look at that. That's woodwormed wood, and that is from a crab apple tree. And the crab apple tree is one of the oldest trees in Scotland. So it is. Yeah. It's up at a place called Jess Mary's Bay, which is 9 miles from the village. Yeah, it's 9 miles from the village. It's really popular with fishermen and such. And from that 9 miles, you can stand on the beach and you can see the village, which is 9 miles away. That's really bonkers, that, because it should be 56 feet over the curvature. I wonder how that happened. Right. So what I've done is I made some knife scales. These are a backup in case this whole ambitious thing goes wrong. Right. So I've cut a couple of knife scales out of that piece. They're that sort of size. But as you can see, this is the wood that you're dealing with. And of course, with it being a knife handle, you want something a bit stronger than that. Yeah? But it's still ever so nice. Right. So again, right, that branch, it died, and it snapped off up the tree. So that was dead, but it gave new life for years to these little creatures that lived inside it. And now, together, we're going to give it new life again. In fact, the first project I made with it, when I got it off the tree, I made a Christian cross. I think it was about 10 inches, long, for a couple who had just got married, and he's a pastor. It looks ever so nice, so it did. I coated it in liquid glass, painted it on though, that way. Like the resin. Yeah, so it's dead shiny. It's still hanging in the conservatory today. So they must like it. Unless they don't use the conservatory very much. Anyway, so what I've done, I'll try and show you this. So I made some of the casting resin. just to try it out. And I put colour through it, blue and green. So because the wood is very unstable, I don't know if I can do this, but I'll try and show you. Because I've only just done it, so it shouldn't have gone off yet. No, it should be fine. Okay. Something to pick it up with. Yeah, here's one of the scales. If I can get it. Right. Let me try. Can you see? That's one of the knife scales that I've put in the resin. I should have thought about this before I started filming. But, you know, I'm too big and bloody clever. Yeah, can you see? So that'll soak right into that wood because it's quite like a sponge. Just flip that back over. Yeah, can you see? Lovely, yeah? I mean, we're going to lose a great deal of it because once I fix them to the knife, we're going to sand most of it away. But I am hoping that those lovely colours of blue and green will actually sit in the wee holes and the wee lines. So it'll be ever so nice. And I'm going to give this, it's a smashing big, oh, you can see it's right there. I'm going to give it to Rambo. No, I'm not. You know, Rambo will be like, that's too bloody big for me. I think, yeah, I'm going to give it to my pal's son because he's into his bushcrafting and that. So what I did, because it starts to float in the resin, so I just made this, dead simple, because then there's not a lot touching it, the scales, not a lot of wood touching the scales, but that'll just hold it down. And there's a piece of lignum, heavy dense wood as a weight. Yeah, so let's see how we get on with that. Like I say, my happiest place in the world is my workshop. And living in the bus, I'm not going to have one, am I? So I've been thinking about what I'm going to do. When I've got a workshop, like last night, I just sat in here all night and just potted. Well, I potted on that, actually. I was shaping up this handle. I've done these before. And I like to make them completely round, so there's no jaggy edges. So it's like more tubular, if you know what I mean. So that's a lot of faffing. But I like it. I just sit it on here. Sit it on there. And then that thing there, I can just thump that in. That's nice and tight. Put my clamp on there, and then just chisel away. And then I was using my my rasp for shaping this, so I just clamp that down. It's nice and tight. That's very simple, just on a wee screw, and you turn it like that, and it grabs it tighter. Easy peasy. And then I could get my rasp in there. And I really enjoyed it, so I did. Right, really nice plinky plunky music on. And I had, well, I think I drank about 3 pints of Vimto. I smoked a couple of ciggies and just really enjoyed it. It's really relaxing. So, like I say, living in the bus, not having a workshop, going to do my head in a little bit. So I've decided I'm going to do quite a bit more leathercraft, and I'll film that from the bus when I'm working in it. I'm making a little breakfast bar in the bus. You may have heard me say that. And there's a breakfast bar in there now, the temporary one, in exactly the same sort of place where the proper one's going to be. And I've got this smashing stool that's going to sit there, which means I can sit on my wee stool at my breakfast bar of an evening and use my breakfast bar as my little workbench. Because of course I can't do big projects and I can't have my wood laid in there and blah blah blah, but I can do a little bit of leather crafting. I've done loads of that. I really like it. I've only got this to show you. Probably one or two other bits and bobs knocking about, but this is one of the very first things I ever made. But I made it 8 years ago, and I use it every day. It's my my tobacco pouch. You see. a wee thingamajig for my papers, and then there's 2 pockets inside it, you know, and I've made knife sheaths and card holders and things like that. So I'm just about to order myself a new, you can see I've used this bit where I've made knife sheaths. It's a nice thick piece of hide. Yeah, so that's one. And also you may have seen in previous videos where I made candles. So I'm going to use the same little workspace best I can and do a little bit of leather crafting and making my candles, because that'll just keep my mind occupied, keep me off the streets, you know. Yeah, so like I say, I'm making gifts in my little workshop, which is ace, isn't it? Making gifts for people. And the first gift I made, I just sort of set it up, and my pal who kind of lent me the house told me that while I was away in England, there was a bit of a drama with the water situation that's in a shed just there. I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, so somebody had come to change the filters, the water filters, because that water supply filters and supplies a couple of other houses. There's a wee hamlet of houses here, if you will, and just over the fence there at the back, there's 3 senior citizens live, so they need the water good. And then there's a lovely wee cabin that's an Airbnb, and that gets checked differently because it's an Airbnb. So anyway, we had a bit of a drama with the water, and there's a wee door at the back where there's an outside tap, and I think that was leaking. It's in that. But for the fear of frost, my pal asked me if I could just do something about the hole at the back, just stick some insulation in it and whatnot. So of course I said yeah. And I thought to myself, well, I'll just do it now. I'll just get on with it. And then I thought, well, I'll make it a bit funky. And also make it nice. And do it as a gift. So the first thing I ever made in my temporary workshop was a wee gift, a wee freebie for my pal who gave me the house that the workshop is in. Crikey, yeah, isn't it? So I'll show you. Come on, I'll show you. Wait a minute. See my view? Ooh. Nice view. Oh, good. I've just been a bit mindful there in case Dolores Claiborne was kicking about. I'd have had to pause the video and wait till she bogged off. But anyway, praise the Lord, she's not. Oh, hold on a minute, what's that? Look at that. Oh, I wonder what that might be. Look, and it suddenly stops. All of a sudden, it just suddenly stops there. It's almost like something was switched on over there somewhere. Look how far it goes. Crikey. And then it was switched off. I wonder what that might be. Strange weather we're having, eh? Anyway, so this is the wee shed I was talking about. But I wasn't here. I was in Englandshire. I'll show you. All the security. It's all the security you need. So this is the woodshed. You can see where they've had a leak. Yeah. And then at the back there, I don't know if you can see in this light, but at the back there's a wee tap. Aye, a wee hose pipe and a wee tap. And then that piece of insulation was on the floor. And that's where the hole was. And that's where there was a drama. Anyway, I was asked to fix it. So of course I said yeah. Always happy to help. It's a lovely day, you know. It's really warm, actually. I don't know what it is. It's maybe about 8 degrees or something. It's actually quite warm. I was in the house before, and then I walked out into the bus to get some bits and bobs, because I'm still sleeping in the bus. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why. When I came home, I came back on Monday. I got back Monday night, 10:30 at night. First thing I did was I lit the fire. And I think I may have gone into the house. Anyway, the next day, so the Tuesday, I got into the house to start clearing the house, making it habitable to live in for the couple of months while I do the refit on the bus. You see? Anyway, so I've gone in the wardrobe to start looking through clothes because we're going to have a declutter. And I had a wee box in the bottom of the wardrobe with all my nice shirts. I buy all these second-hand shirts off eBay for work. And they're all like Ben Sherman and Tommy Hilfiger and all these fancy names. But I only pay about £4 for them. And then maybe 50p delivery. So £4.5, £5. And I had a nice selection. And they're really nice for work because even though I get mucky and sweaty, having a nice shirt for work, even when you're mucky, you still look presentable that way, you know. Anyway, so a mouse had eaten through the top one, all the way through to the bottom one, and then made a wee nest. You know, whereas he could have made life a lot easier for himself and just burrowed down the side without chewing anything and got himself tucked in somewhere in the middle, and he'd been like sleeping on a mattress of my shirts and having like, you know, a big load of quilts above him of my shirts. But no, he thought better. I'll just tunnel all my way right through the middle of all his shirts. Yeah. 8 shirts ruined. You couldn't make it up, could you? Anyway, so yeah, this is the back side of the drama. Let me just get this wee piece of wood and I'll show you what I had to do. So my pal asked me if I'd sort this situation out. It's only a wee job, it's nothing big and fancy, you know, but it's always nice to be nice, isn't it? Anyway, so the back of the door, you see, that's what, that's where the issue was. Because you can see all this wood's rotten. So, what I did, because I'm awfully clever, was, I made that. Yeah. I'm going to replace this, but I didn't have time last night because it was getting dark. So I'm going to replace all that. I'll maybe do that later today. So I just made that, hand carved that, sprayed it with that green spray that I showed you before. That's for the bus. And then I pinched this handle from the kitchen in the farmhouse, one of the kitchen cupboards, because you know, the whole place is getting torn apart. So we might as well use that. And then I've insulated it as well. So that should keep it good. Nice, eh? So that was my first ever gift. Sorry, my first ever project in my new temporary workshop. Yeah, nice, eh? So that's it. Hope you all have a lovely day. And I'll show you how we get on with this, with these projects, especially the, you know, the two gifts that I'm making, Ali and Sandra's gift and Adele's gift. So they're quite ambitious, particularly Adele's gift, the bowl. So we'll see. Anyway, God bless each and every one of you. I don't think I've got anything else to say. Apart from Jesus loves you. All right. God bless you. Ta-da.